This is our Consumer Insights presentation by Laura Jane Brown
and Paul Ernst.
In this presentation, we will be talking about consumer behavior theory in relation to the Coca-Cola Company. This will include the topics of perception, self-concept, and decision-making and how they relate to Coca-Cola. We will be applying relevant theory, concepts, and frameworks based off each topic to demonstrate our understanding and how they are applied to the Coca-Cola Company within a marketing environment. We will also be using examples of Coca-Cola's recent marketing campaigns and adverts to evaluate the topics, as well as comparing and contrasting Coca-Cola to key competitors.
The Coca-Cola Company is an American corporation, manufacturer, retailer, and marketer of non-alcoholic drinks. The current headquarters of the company is placed in Atlanta, in the US. In 2017, the company was able to generate a total revenue of $35 billion while employing over 61,000 people worldwide. The Coca-Cola Company has more than 400 brands under their name, including the world's top 4 non-alcoholic sparkling drink brands: Coca-Cola, Diet Coke, Fanta, and Sprite. In this presentation, we will mainly focus on the product line of Coca-Cola. Nowadays, Coca-Cola is the 14th most valuable brand in the world, and their main competitor is Pepsi. The original Coca-Cola recipe was invented in 1886 by John Pemberton. First, he only sold 9 glasses a day for 5 cents each. Nowadays, more than 1.9 billion Coca-Cola drinks are served every day.
The self-concept is defined as the beliefs a person holds about their attributes and how they evaluate these qualities. It is basically how a person sees himself or wishes to be seen by others. The self-concept can be split into the extended self, self-congruence, digital self, gender, body, and self-esteem. The digital self refers to how people wish to be perceived by others on social media. The sex role identity can be split into femininity and masculinity. These gender goals and expectations form part of actual and ideal self. This is why certain products will be specifically marketed to be aimed at a female audience, whereas other products will be more marketed to appeal to a male audience. For example, Diet Coke is usually marketed towards women and Coke Zero is marketed towards men. A recent Diet Coke TV advert showed a topless man drinking a can of Diet Coke surrounded by women. This advert was more targeted to a female audience due to the use of a male model. Coke Zero was the main sponsor of the 2012 James Bond film Skyfall. This film predominantly has a male audience, therefore this campaign will have appealed to more men than women. Both drinks are sugar and calorie free. However, Coca-Cola Zero Sugar looks and tastes more like Coca-Cola Original Taste, while Diet Coke has a different blend of flavors, which gives it a lighter taste. Diet Coke claims to have no calories, whereas Coke Zero is marketed as zero sugar. However, they are both marketed to different audiences. According to Rosenberg, there are different dimensions of the self: the actual self and the ideal self. The actual self is defined as how a person perceives themselves and how they think others perceive them. This is often a more realistic, however more negative perception of oneself. The ideal self is how a person would like to be perceived by themselves and by others. This is usually based off aspirations, heroes, goals, ambitions, and what we want to achieve. An example of this would be how Coca-Cola is seen as unhealthy, whereas Diet Coke is seen as a healthier choice. Some people will choose to drink Diet Coke because they wish to be perceived as healthier. This is known as impression management, as people who drink Diet Coke because of how they wish to be seen by others. This is in a social context as opposed to a private context. The models used in Coca-Cola ad campaigns are often young and attractive to appeal to their target market. People may view this and want to be like the models used in the adverts, so they might be more persuaded to buy the products because they think they'll be more like the model. Coca-Cola's Share a Coke and a Song campaign used Selena Gomez as a spokesperson to promote the brand on social media. Selena Gomez's Instagram post of her and a bottle of Coca-Cola has now become Instagram's most liked picture ever. This is an example of the digital self. This is how we wish to be perceived on the internet and on social media by others. Many people now measure themselves based on how many followers or likes they have on social media and use this to compare themselves to others. Social media can help us to create multiple manufactured identities of how we want our followers to see us. According to Nelson, social media becomes part of a person's brand, a brand that can help you or hurt you.
Every time we see a picture or an advert, we interpret them subconsciously. Even though the shown image has no real connection with the actual product, we associate the positive or negative characteristics of the image with the product. This assumption is supported by Peirce's theory of sign. He assumed that every message has three essential components: a sign, an object, and an interpretant. The object or product is always building the fundament of the message. Even if it's not immediately apparent, everything revolves around the product. The sign or symbol is the sensory image that has to transmit values, and the interpretant or interpretation is the meaning or perception that a person generates based on the connection between sign and object, and based on the schema a person has. In case of the Coca-Cola advert, the object is the Coca-Cola Zero bottle and the traditional Coca-Cola bottle. The sign or symbol are the smiling, good-looking people who are drinking Coca-Cola. Third part would be the customer's interpretation. The customer could interpret what he has seen, for example that there is a vibe of happiness caused by the people drinking Coca-Cola, or that Coca-Cola is healthy, or at least not unhealthy, because the people got clean and white teeth and a good body shape. To understand this semiotic process is very important for marketers, because they can use this approach to manipulate the customers by linking positive signs and symbols with specific desirable characteristics, so the customers make interpretation as intended by the company. The technique that Coca-Cola has mastered in the last few years was the use of guerrilla marketing. The term guerrilla marketing was coined from Levinson in 1984. He described it as a body of unconventional ways of perceiving conventional good. It intends to get maximum results from minimum resources. Back in the days, it was a good strategy for small and medium-sized companies to compete with the large competitors. Nowadays, not only small companies are using this technique. Marketers from all kinds of companies are using the art of guerrilla marketing to attract as much attention as possible from the sensory overloaded consumers. Coca-Cola is also using it to stand out from the other approximately 3,500 pieces of advertisement information a normal consumer faces every day. One example for Coca-Cola using innovative guerrilla marketing is the Hug Me vending machine that was installed at the National University of Singapore during the Open Happiness campaign in 2012. Instead of money, this machine responds only to the currency of hugs. Every participant who physically hugged the machine was given a free Coke. This physical interaction boosts the personal involvement and builds a relationship between the consumer and Coca-Cola. Due to multimodal learning, this experience with the brand is more memorable than only visual or auditory stimulation. This guerrilla marketing strategy exposed the target group to several sensory stimuli to capture their attention. One of them is the appearance of the vending machine. The marketers tried to create a contrast by using only two bold and strong colors, red and white. This helps to stand out of the huge amount of visual stimuli. Another stimuli used by the marketers is the physical interaction with the vending machine. The surfaces of the touch points were preheated to body temperature, so the hug felt more personal. Another guerrilla marketing activity that Coca-Cola did was that a truck rolled out a suburban park in Lithuania. Coca-Cola placed turf, trees and special vending machines to transform a square into a lush green park. This time, the pedestrians didn't have to hug the vending machine, but they had the introduction to take off their shoes to open happiness. The vending machines rewarded those who did with not only a refreshing bottle of Coca-Cola, but the feeling of fresh grass underfoot. Pedestrians were encouraged to go barefoot in the grass, surrounded by picnic baskets, kites, and frisbees. Due to the interaction and unexpected experience, the pedestrians have a big situational involvement with the brand, not only those who participated actively, also the persons who just walked by and watched the event won't forget this marketing activity that fast. They connect the feeling of happiness with Coca-Cola in the future. After Coca-Cola was able to create several viral hits with the video of their vending machines, Pepsi quickly reacted with also placing interactive vending machines. For example, a vending machine that reacts to enthusiasm at a football game.
Learning can be defined as the activity or process of acquiring knowledge or skills by studying, practicing, or experiencing something. It is very important for brands to be instantly recognizable, for example by using a logo. Brands and companies use logos so that their brand or product will be recognized and remembered by consumers. Coca-Cola have one of the most easily recognizable and influential brand logos in the world, as it is universal and is understood by any language. Even the shape of the Coca-Cola bottle is an iconic feature of the brand. From just seeing the shape of the glass bottle, consumers can instantly identify and link the bottle to the brand. Pavlovian conditioning is a basic process of learning that relates especially to reflexes and emotional behavior. An example of this would be television adverts that are repeated over a period of time. This is to remind the consumers about the brand or product being advertised. Coca-Cola sponsor many sporting events. For example, Coca-Cola sponsored the Super Bowl in February this year. The advert will have been shown throughout the game during the advert breaks, and the brand logo was displayed on the stand. This is an example of classical conditioning because consumers have been conditioned to want a Coke just by seeing the logo or hearing the advert. The advert and message will also have been repeated in order to reinforce the idea, and therefore condition more consumers to crave a drink of Coca-Cola. Another important theory that is applied in the marketing industry is the stimulus generalization. The stimulus generalization theory is also based on an experiment by Pavlov. It says that a learned conditioned response to one stimuli, for example, the positive attitude about the positive characteristics of a classic Coke, could also apply to a similar stimulus, for example, a different variation of Coca-Cola, like Coca-Cola Vanilla, without further testing or training. Coca-Cola is also using this theory in their product line extension very much by creating new flavors and product differentiation. Thereby, Coca-Cola is able to reduce the skepticism towards new products by transferring the opinions linked to the present products to the new ones. They are also able to enlarge their target audience. In comparison to Coca-Cola, Pepsi has a very small product line extension. Using nostalgia for marketing purposes was a huge trend in the last few years. According to Hepper et al., nostalgia is an emotion that arises from reflection on one's past. By consuming or seeing a nostalgic product, the consumer is able to recreate and re-experience a personal event. He links the nostalgic product with the positive emotions and feelings from the past. Negative emotions are very uncommon for the nostalgic memory because individuals often reflect on the memory through rose-colored glasses. Due to a study published in the Journal of Consumer Research in 2014, the happiness and positive emotions that are linked to nostalgia encourages the consumers to pay more for a specific product, even though there is no physical added value. Coca-Cola also uses the positive effects of nostalgia in their marketing campaigns and daily business. A good example is the shape of the iconic Coca-Cola bottle from 1950. To this day, Coca-Cola only slightly changed the shape of it. By holding it and drinking out of it, consumers are able to think back to their childhood or the good old days. In conclusion, Coca-Cola have a successful marketing strategy in relation to consumer behavior. They have been able to successfully market the brand to appeal to a variety of different audiences by making consumers feel better about themselves or their perceived self. This has been done through the consumer self-concept and the perception of themselves and others. Coca-Cola have done this by using certain models and sponsors that will appeal to consumers and how they wish to be viewed. Coca-Cola have also used the perception of the brand and their products to their advantage. For example, they have used forms of guerrilla marketing in order to differentiate themselves by capturing consumers' attention. Learning and memory have also been used in many of Coca-Cola's marketing strategies and campaigns. Since the 1880s, the Coca-Cola brand and logo has been used to attract consumers and reinforce the brand image, and now the Coca-Cola brand is one of the most instantly recognizable brands in the world. All of these areas of consumer behavior theory have worked well together for the Coca-Cola brand and have been used in many marketing strategies to make Coca-Cola the successful company it is today. Thank you for listening.